the Alpha Team Halloween stream. Hopefully you all have had a fantastic evening. Welcome all for the very first time live on stream. We, as a community, will be telling a mixture of some scary stories, whether it's a little bit of Irish folklore, we'll be telling a little bit of just general scary stories. Hopefully you're all doing well. What up, Jim? What up, Jason? We got Simple Roxy. Who else do we have in here? We've got Gemini. We've got Leslie. We've got Alan. Thanks for resubscribing, by the way, Alan. Tell me before we get started, just because I'm not 100% familiar with this, should we do this?
Or should we do this? Can you understand me a little bit better this way? Just because I'm thinking this way is probably a little bit more understandable. Okay. Overlay is better? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. But welcome everyone! We have never done this before, and this was something I was thinking while I was out trick-or-treating. A little bit earlier today, the idea kind of popped into my head, and while I was taking my girl trick-or-treating, I said, you know, we've never really had like a story time, just telling some scary stories. I was looking at some folklore stories, some creepypasta and stuff like that on my phone. And I was like, we could probably run a stream like this. And so, for maybe about an hour, we're just gonna do some folklore stories, some Halloween stories. Kick back, get in the vibe, enjoy Halloween for a minute as adults, because we've been enjoying it for the past few hours, if you're like me, with the kids, trick-or-treating and all that stuff. And so I'm gonna pull this hood down. We're gonna do the spooky vibes. I've got my friend hanging out in your ear somewhere right there. He's gonna help me tell these stories, and then we got some ghosts floating around and all that stuff. And so we're gonna get through this, but hopefully it's not too lame. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, if this is the first video or stream or what have you that you're catching, I don't normally do stuff like this, so excuse me if I'm a little bit out of my element. How's everyone's hamstring? So actually I walked a couple of miles today. My little girl has much more stamina than I have, but let's go ahead, get in the mood. If you've got something, let's set a little bit of a vibe. Let's take a drink. Let's have a little tone setter, you know, get in the mood for some spooky stories. And cilantro with me, if you guys know where we're going with that. Oh yeah, kids walk for miles for candy. My daughter has she's 4, she has little tiny legs, and somehow she goes just forever. Alright. Getting back into the spirit of the evening here. How does this work if I turn out the slide? Not well. Okay, let's turn it back on a little bit. Alright. The first story that I've prepared for the evening is the origin story of the jack-o'-lantern. Now, Halloween time, we all know the jack-o'-lantern. We all see the jack-o'-lantern. It's on every doorstep. It's on every porch rail. You see jack-o'-lanterns all around. We all decorate We all throw them up, we all have them on t-shirts and in candy, but do you know why? Well, that's why we're here today. Long ago, let me pull my phone up. Long ago, in a small village in Ireland, lived a drunkard named Stingy Jack. Now, Stingy Jack was not held in very high regard by the townsfolk. One evening, Satan overheard stories of the devious deeds of Jack and decided that he must have this fellow's soul. Jack may have been stingy, but he was quite clever. When Satan came to collect his soul, he successfully made the case that the least Satan could do was allow him to have a final drink at his favorite pub. After this, Stingy Jack left Satan on the hook for the tab. Now, Jack suggested that he turn himself into a coin to pay the bill, and they would be off on their journey to the underworld. Satan was fooled when Jack took the coin and put it into his pocket alongside a crucifix, thereby trapping Satan in his pocket. The devil begged and pleaded, and only upon agreeing to leave Jack alone for 10 years was he released. Exactly 10 years after this, Satan found Jack stumbling home from the pub. With a heavy sigh, Jack looked at the devil, knowing full well what he intended to do. The devil intended to drag Jack to hell, but Jack made a request of Satan to climb a nearby apple tree to get him a final snack to eat before the journey southbound. Satan apparently was still not as clever as Jack, so he climbed the apple tree. And when Satan was climbing the tree, Jack carved a cross into the trunk, thereby trapping Satan up in the tree. And the devil begged and pleaded, and only upon agreeing to never take Jack's soul to hell was he released. Many years later, when Stingy Jack took his last breath and died, St. Peter refused him entrance into heaven for all of his evil deeds. See, Stingy Jack was never a nice person. But Satan also refused him entrance into hell due to their contract, because Satan had agreed to never drag Stingy Jack to hell. In one final parting gift, Satan gave Jack an ember ablaze with hell fire. And alas, Jack was stuck roaming the earth with only a carved turnip glowing with hell fire to light his way. When Stingy Jack ceased to be, Jack of the Lantern began. On Halloween night, keep an eye out for a restless, wandering soul every time you see a jack-o'-lantern, for it may just be the hellfire glow from Jack's lantern. And that's the origin of the jack-o'-lantern. See, Jack of the Lantern, in the Old Irish, became the Jack-o'-lantern. You never heard that story? So that is an actual Irish folklore tale from back in the day. I actually have another story about Stingy Jack lined up. But before we get back to Stingy Jack, let's move into something else. What are you guys feeling like? I'll give you a couple of things. We can do another Irish tale, an ancient terror stalking the Irish countryside. We can run back to Nighty Night, a story of ghost spirits, madness, paranoia, and mental illness. We can look at A Letter from My Stalker. We can read a story about All Samhain's Eve. Or one of my personal favorites, The Thing They Carried. Don't you be reading that, my friends. The Stalker? Okay. Hello, Mandy. Let's see how this goes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sit here on Daddy's spooky sack's lap, and he'll tell you a story. The thing they carried. So we have the stalker first. So we'll do the stalker now. The story is called I Found a Letter from My Stalker. And it's a creepypasta story written by Minister of Owls. As context, I found this note. It was nailed onto a tree on my front lawn. I really don't know how to describe it, so I'll let you read it for yourself. Rather, I'll read it to you. The note says, I saw you today. It was your birthday. You didn't see me. You hardly ever do these days. Your skin looked so nice and healthy, and your eyes, they were the most beautiful I'd ever seen them. You've grown so much. I remember how different you used to look when you were younger. I remember the day I first met you. It was 4 years ago, and I was sitting at my desk, head down, listening to the teacher rattling off names for attendance. The teacher called out a name I didn't recognize, and a stranger's voice answered behind me. Was there a new student? The teacher didn't pause for a second, just continued calling out name after name. I turned my head to where the voice had come from. I saw you. A pale young thing, so thin, your eyes so red, at a seat that should have been empty. I saw the fireflies flying around you flickering, dozens of them, never straying far from you. I saw them going through you and coming out through your skin, like you were a mist to them. Can you believe I thought you were a ghost? No one else seemed to acknowledge the new stranger sitting at the back of the class. Class after class, hour after hour passed as I waited for something to happen, for someone to notice you, for you to leave, for you to let out a ghoulish scream and claw at me like in the horror story I was certain I was in. But nothing happened. Teachers came and went, my classmates laughed and slept, and you just sat there. The bell rang for recess. The other kids ran to their mundanities for the day, leaving me and you together in the empty classroom. You stood up and pulled a chair from the desk next to you, making it face your desk. You turned your head to me and spoke. Well, you're slow today. Come on, ask me your questions. I don't know why I didn't run away screaming at that moment. Probably would have turned out better for me in the long run, but let's not speculate. I guess at that point in my life, I was pretty bloody lonely. I figured there was only a 50-50 chance you'd eat me, and the other 50 was that someone wanted to talk with me. Kid priorities don't make sense to me either these days. So I went along with the flow. I walked over to your desk, I sat down on the chair you pulled for me, and asked my questions. What were you? You told me you didn't know. You said once you were a child, just like me, with parents and friends. You used to go to the same schools as me. Then one day, one ordinary day, when you were 10, you just woke up, and you were like this. Covered in fireflies, no one could remember you the moment they concentrated on anything else. No one. Not even your parents. You told me of how I'd notice you every day. How I'd think of you until recess. Every day. How I'd come to you every day. How we would talk every day. How we would meet for the first time every day for the last 3 years. About how I'd forget the instant I walked out of the room. How everyone would forget you. How the fireflies would make them. How for the first 3 years you had been alone. Your story was very hard to believe, so I didn't. I asked what reality prank show I was on. You looked unimpressed. You continued to ask me to keep telling my story. I was caught off guard by the non sequitur. You said the last time I was here, I was telling you a horror story about a haunted house. As you to tell the story, goosebumps prickled on my skin. It was a story I'd been making up in my head, a story I hadn't told anyone yet. And at that moment, a million reactions were open to me, all simultaneously adequate and inadequate. But the only thing that seemed proper was to finish the story for you. So I did. Halfway through, you interrupted me to ask if my mother had recovered from her sickness yet. I had to shake my head, a bit ashamed at the fact I'd shared that private matter to a stranger. And the story ended a few minutes before recess. My next class was in another room. You told me to go. Your steadiness took me back. You seemed so accepting of your fate. Like you'd already gotten used to the idea of being forgotten forever. I was a kid back then. I wasn't a particularly smart kid, and I was probably on the onset of a crust, so you can excuse what I did next as an example of my childhood stupidity. I grabbed my scissors, pressed it against my arm skin, and dug in. And as it drew blood, I pushed it forward till the cut formed the shape I wanted. Letter by letter, I carved your name into my arm. And just so you know, I don't regret that. Don't get me wrong, kid power might have made me do it, but it sure as hell didn't make the pain go away. It was one of the most painful experiences of my life. But even as a kid, I thought what was happening to you was unfair. I remember how your eyes looked when you saw that. The confusion. How strange it was for you that anyone would want to remember. And I remember that look so clearly. When I woke up the next day and saw your name on my arm, I remembered you. I didn't forget. And that day, for the first time, we had a conversation that wasn't so one-sided. You said no one had ever done anything like that before and suggested I might have a mental illness. I won't deny it. That drew a little blood. As we talked, a creeping thought came into my head. Did you prefer it when I didn't remember? That night, I was sitting up on my bed staring at your name on my arm, wondering if I should cover it up so I couldn't see it and give you back your privacy when I heard a crash. I looked up to see my bedroom window was shattered and had a dirty rock on my floor. I looked out of the cracked window to see a dark figure on my lawn. You were outside yelling about how we should hang out. And it took me a while to get used to how bad you were at talking to people. Years without practice made you quite a bit rusty. And that was alright. We had a lot of time. For the next 2 years, we spent most of our free time together, as a matter of fact. Most of the time, we talked. You'd yell me an aspect of your life and how you lived. You still stayed in your old house. Your parents never noticed the food that had gone missing, never noticed the extra room or that you'd stolen the extra keys. One night I confided in you that I was beginning to think you were a part of my imagination, Fight Club style. After all, what could you do to me that I couldn't do to myself? You spent the next month or so trying to leave bite marks on my ear or neck to prove a point, and I still have a few scars on my ears, so I guess you did. But looking back, I could see the warning signs even then. Your skin never seemed to get worse and worse. It always was worse and worse, paler and paler, and you rubbed your eyes raw. And it was in winter that we had our wake-up call. The morning began like any other. I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I started searching for clothes to wear. It was a winter morning and my room was dark, so I didn't see your name on my arm. The cold sent shivers through my body and pulled out a long-sleeve jacket. A small bell rang in my head. Don't you normally roll your sleeves up? Yeah. And why did I? That was annoying. I finished tidying up, I headed to school. On the school bus, I felt oddly content, like something I'd been worrying about had just disappeared. I walked up the school stairs, down the hall, through the classroom door, and sat down at my desk. The same feeling of a burden forgotten hounded my mind. What was I forgetting? When recess came, I just sat at my desk while my classmates ran out. felt like a ritual, but I didn't know what for. I was contemplating just walking out to join them when I heard it. It was something small in the wind, like a whisper, but it came over and over, incessant, and it sounded like my name. I knew this was strange, but this was worth my attention. But I felt oddly calm. Everything would be all right. Everything would be fine. Just ignore it. I sat there at my desk, my mind a war zone between two conflicting, contradictory voices, when I felt a force tugging on my sleeve. And the moment I noticed this, my jacket sleeve tore open. I saw your name on my arm, and then your hand that had ripped my jacket open. You've been yelling at me for over 20 minutes. I think that was the moment we realized how on the edge our friendship really was. One accident away from complete erasure. We spent most of the next year in the town library together, trying to find out what the fireflies were. It wasn't really a problem for me because of my mother's treatment. My family couldn't afford to go on any trips, and our house didn't have heating anymore, so I was happy to spend any time with you. Trying to find information was a puzzle in and of itself. After all, how would I read about people I couldn't remember, and how would you find out who was special when no one could even remember enough about them to record them? We found our own family trees and records. Individually, we'd write down the name of everyone in the book on 2 lists, and then we would compare. The names I hadn't remembered to write down, but you had, would become the focus. They were the names who were under the curse of the fireflies. We compiled a list of people that we thought could help us, because they were written in areas where we were searching for. And I read the books with a list of names side by side, reading it again for every page of the book. You scoured the internet on the library computers on the lookout for articles about the people. And our searches would lead us to the first glimpses we got of what was really happening to you. It was late at night when you found the picture. I was a bit drowsy at that time, almost about to nod off when I heard a sharp intake of breath. I turned to see you standing up, pointing at the screen. I didn't see anything. Well, anything noteworthy. On the screen was a picture of a clearing somewhere in the woods. You held up your piece of paper where you'd marked out 2 names. Susie Appleby Reagan, who was 13, and Terry Appleby Reagan, who was 12. Siblings. For a moment, I saw the paper and the screen side by side. Side by side. And then I saw them. 2 figures emerging from the woods toward the camera. They were almost humanoid, with the exception of their limbs, which stretched to nightmarish proportions. Their blank white skin was that of a pure albino, and looked more like a tree bark than anything you'd expect to find on a mammal. A cloud of fireflies surrounded the duo. The shorter one looked emaciated. I could see their rib cages, around which their eyes. God, their eyes! So small, so red. The taller one with its white hair, it didn't even look alive anymore. They were little more than skin wrapped around a skeleton. Fireflies swarmed out of the pair's empty eye sockets. Both reached for the cameraman. I looked at the article surrounding the picture. It was a blog posted by a hiker 20 years after the last mention of the 2 kids. The picture was a mystery to the cameraman as well. He'd been wanting to go to the woods picture for a while now, but he had never actually remembered going there. The picture had just appeared on his camera one day out of the blue. For a moment I looked at your face, your thin, pale face, with those red-veined eyes. Would that be you when my scar faded? Just a walking horror I'd glimpse, then forget? We worked through our reading lists at a much faster pace starting from that moment. Maybe we should have gone slower. At least every book, every website we left untouched promised hope. The books that we finished and tossed aside promised nothing but the clearing in the woods as one's future. And we tossed aside a lot of books. I believe I tore 3/4 of my reading list before I stumbled across the journal. Oh God, that horrible, horrible journal. The journal used to belong to a mental patient named Zoe, who claimed to be a serial killer. He was locked up in the asylum when the police discovered his supposed victims never existed. He was diagnosed with a need for attention and shoved away. They should have electrocuted him. They should have fried him until his flesh melted and his hair burned. But in the journal, he talked about how he carried out his killings. He knew things, bizarre and disturbing things no one else knew. He knew of strange creatures that lived in the woods. Of them, his favorites were the fireflies. Now, I'm not going to tell you how he summoned these things. I trust you. I trust you more than anyone. But a thing like this belongs to the ground more than it ever will to the human mind. In the end, it's sufficient to know that these things were not fireflies. Zoe would start his ritual by taking a kid. Any kid. Anyone he pleased. He could take them at any time, in the dead of night from their own homes or in the broad daylight from their front yards. It didn't matter if he was seen. He'd take them to his house and drag them inside. Usually, an Amber Alert came up at this point. He didn't care. Like I said, it wouldn't matter soon. He dragged them to a special room in his house, and here the fireflies would come and latch onto them. Now, nobody was searching for the kids. Not the police, not the parents, nobody. From then on, he could do whatever he wanted to the kid. He'd get bored of them after a day or two after the child had broken. At that point, he disposed of them. Hacksaw, kitchen knife, anything would work. He'd telled a large pit of bodies he kept in the woods, swarming with bugs. One day, I guess he got bored of that too, so he went right to the police station and turned himself in. Not on account of guilt, no. He just wanted somebody to know about the stuff he was doing. Because he was a sick bastard. Oh, don't get the wrong idea. He never stopped killing them. The asylum doors didn't stop him from doing what he liked. It just made him improvise. He made a new way. He modified the flies so that he could survive without a host. Just in a dormant state. When a child would approach the swarm, it would latch on and begin its effect. Over the years, the child would warp horribly into the things we saw in the woods. I wish I could hate him more. He felt like the world owed him nothing. But on the final page, there was another entry about the fireflies. You must have seen something in my face because at that moment you asked if I had found anything. I said no, and I closed the book. A few minutes later, you shut down the computer. You picked up the last book and you went through it yourself. And when you reached the end cover, you tossed it aside. And that's what we should do now. You said it was alright and I could go home and we'd talk about it in the morning. So I stood up. I walked past the shelves of books. I headed for the library entrance, but I stopped right outside the door and waited. And I waited until I heard the sniffling sounds. I sneaked back to our table where you were quietly sobbing. You had your head in your hands, and I sat back down as you raised your eyes to me. You said you wished you'd never met me. How happy you were when you had nothing to lose. How I'd ruined your life. You'd never really gotten better at talking to people. And that was the worst love confession I'd ever heard. I remember how we kissed that night. I remember your hands gripping my hair. I remember that kiss. I wish it could have just been a kiss. I'm sorry I ruined that moment. When my arms were around you, I was close enough to steal a firefly without you noticing. I remember holding the firefly in my hand. I remember how it struggled until it didn't. Until it was a part of me. The fireflies shifted. They came over to me and left you. I remember the familiar look in your eyes. The confusion. I never wanted to see that confusion in your eyes again. You deserve to be loved, and you deserve to know that. Wasn't really living anyway. You reached for me, and I pulled away as the lights of recognition faded from your eyes. And then you were just staring at a stranger, walking away into a crowd of strangers. That was a year ago. You've gotten so much better since then. You have so many friends now. So many people at your birthday party. You also look so much healthier. I haven't been as fortunate. My skin's gotten paler, and my eyes hurt all the time now. I couldn't go to school like you did all those years. I haven't wasted my time, though. I found Zoe's pit. The bodies. There were so many bodies. There's a grave for those children now. Without me, my mom could afford her surgery. She looked so happy. Just yesterday, I saw her playing with my baby brother. I saw you crying yesterday. You were with your friends, laughing. For a brief moment, your eyes met mine. And then, they were wet. I think I'm going away. For good, I think. You're not going to be happy if I stick around. Just know I'm so happy I met you, even if you don't remember me. That's the end of the note. Sometimes I go through depressive episodes. I feel so lonely, even with my friends. I don't know what's going on through my head during these times, and sometimes I'd end up in a bathtub. But now, I realized I wasn't the one doing those things to myself. The cuts, they're letters. I've been carving a name onto my arm. And that's the story. So, not a huge fan of this story personally. Definitely darker tone.
You look thirsty.
I am thirsty. Thank you, Roxy.
Have you hydrated yet today?
Not recently enough. I don't know what the shotgun clip is, Simulator. You keep saying this. I have no idea what you're talking about. You are correct, Alyssa. I am echoing. Alright. Whew. Time you took a shotgun, because the knock... Oh, that shotgun clip. Yeah, we'll pull up that shotgun clip at some point. Here in a little bit. Alright. So... Happy Halloween, Elena! How are you? How are you, Alyssa? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to everybody else who's joined since, if I missed anyone's name. Whew. Hopefully you're all doing well tonight. Hopefully everyone has had a happy Halloween. We're gonna read another story in just a minute. I need some apple cider. Welcome.
Let's turn this off.
Alright. So the next story. We finished the letter, which ended up being an interesting story about two people passing a curse back and forth. Now, doing better than the people from that story? Yes. Go ahead and make some new quotes, Formula One. Absolutely fine. Just stories. Can we request scary videos too? Preferably stories, but we can look at some videos at some point. I'm not necessarily opposed to it. All right. So, Are you guys ready to get back to Stingy Jack? Or do we move forward with something different? We have an ancient terror. We still have the Naughty Night story. Another with Stingy Jack, or the thing they carried. Yes, Jack. Okay. So we'll do Jack. Now, if any of you do not know the story of Stingy Jack, Stingy Jack is the reason you saw a jack-o'-lantern tonight. Stingy Jack is the reason for the jack-o'-lanterns. Stingy Jack was a bad person who outwitted Satan himself, and as a result was stuck on Earth for all eternity, carrying his jack-o'-lantern. Now, I've met Stingy Jack. Here's the story of it. So, you probably have never heard of Stingy Jack before tonight. And that's fine. I'd never heard of him either until I had the misfortune of meeting a shifty bastard face to face. I encountered Jack not realizing who or what he was, and my ignorance almost cost me my life. And not just my life, but also my immortal soul. Now, before I tell you my story, I might as well admit that I enjoy my drink. I know. I'm an Irishman with a fondness for the booze. So surprised, huh? Well, perhaps I'm a walking cliche, but I'm comfortable with who I am. The truth is, I feel most at home holding court at the bar, and I can't see that changing anytime soon. To be fair, I've used up over the past few years. As I approach the big 40, I can't party like I did back in my 20s. My days of weekend-long benders have mostly come to an end, and I've morphed into a semi-responsible adult, or at least a close approximation of one. Anyway, that's enough about me. I'm not here to tell you my life story. What I will tell you is what happened to me 10 years ago in the back country of County Donegal. My experience that night was terrifying. I challenge anyone to come through a meeting with Jack without shitting their pants. Still, I'll admit to be pretty proud of my achievement on that fateful night. They say you should never try to trick a trickster, but this may be good advice for most. But I took on the man who fooled the devil himself, beating him in a game of chance and banishing the sly bastard right back where he came from. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let me start at the beginning. It was the summer of 2010, and I was over on the west coast of Donegal for a music festival. I traveled down with a few mates, and basically it was just an excuse to get pissed and party hard. The weekend passed by in a drunken haze, and if truth be told, what do you guys think? Let me pause real quick. Would, happened on stream. What do you guys think? Would this be better with the Irish accent, or should we keep going as is? I forgot, when I was reading this one earlier, I planned on doing it in the Irish accent. We'll do the Irish accent. Give it a whirl. Still, I'm meant to be pretty proud of my achievements on that fateful night. They say you should never try to trick a trickster, and this might be good advice for most, but I took on the man who fooled the devil himself. beating him at getting a chance and banishing the sly bastard right back to where he came from. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start at the beginning. It was the summer of 2010, and I was over on the west coast of Donegal for a music festival. I traveled down with a few mates, and basically it was just an excuse to get pissed and party hard. The weekend passed by in a drunken haze, and truth be told, I remember very little about the festival. I do vaguely recall going to a pub crawl in the local village, and downing numerous pints of Guinness and shots of Jameson. We ended back in our rented cottage and continued to party throughout the night. Now, can't really remember this, but apparently I might have drunken past at my mates. Hold on, this is kind of hidden a little bit more. I'll show you. Let me go back. Let me start over. No. We'll keep it going in the American tongue. Let me see. Fun fact, I'd actually planned on doing this, like staying in character the whole time. But this is, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at not being me. Sorry, guys. I've let you down. Alright. So anyway. Now, I can't really remember this, but apparently I made a drunken pass at my friend's girlfriend at some point during the evening. I have no recollection of this event, but to be fair, it does sound like the kind of thing I would do. In any event, my lewd behavior didn't go down too well with either party and resulted in some unpleasantness. I woke up the next morning in a trash cottage with a stinking hangover and a black eye. My friends were somewhat disgusted by my bad behavior, and so they left without me. I can't really say I blame them. The upshot was that I was stranded in rural Donegal and somehow needed to make my way back to Belfast. There was a coach that went through the village each afternoon, so I bought a ticket. Then I made the perhaps unwise decision to return to the local pub for a hair of the dog. And while I waited for the bus, this was probably a mistake in retrospect. I barely made the bus and didn't stay on it for very long. And again, I don't recall exactly what I did on the coach, but I tend to have blank spots when it comes to my drunken misdemeanors. I may have puked on the floor, made lewd comments toward a female passenger. I may have even thrown a punch at the driver. Maybe it was all three. Who knows? I guess it doesn't really matter that much now. What I do clearly remember is being thrown off the bus along a lonely rural road, abandoned in the middle of nowhere. My phone was dead. Surprise, surprise, because I had forgotten to charge the battery. So I was forced to start walking. Now, many people will tell you how beautiful the Donegal countryside is. And I suppose it is in a brutal and austere kind of way. Still, I'm not one for the outdoors at the best of times, and certainly not when I've been thrown off the bus in the middle of an empty land full of rolling hills and watery bogs. My head was throbbing and my whole body ached, but I had no choice but to suck it up and start walking. I noticed the ominous gray clouds in the sky above me, and sure enough, it started pissing down about 5 minutes into my walk. I didn't have a coat with me, and so I was soon drenched through to the skin, which only added to my misery. I've been marching along the lonely country road in the pouring rain for close to 2 hours by the time I finally reached civilization. If indeed it could actually be described as such. I was rather perplexed when I trudged into the small village set alongside the lonely country road. I had no recollection of coming through this hamlet while in the coach, although granted, I hadn't really been paying much attention. Villages in the west of County Donegal tend to have a rustic feel to them, with most looking like a throwback to a previous era. Nevertheless, there are usually some signs of modern world to be found, such as a gas station, electricity pylons, an ATM, or a shop with a post office with modern signage. Not here. This tiny hamlet consisted of a few small stone-walled cottages with traditional thatched roofs and chimneys churning out black smoke from turf fires. There were about a dozen cottages in total, all of similar size and design, and there were no signs of life inside any of the cottages, with each house having their curtains drawn and no lights or sounds coming from within. There were no shops in the small hamlet either, not even a parish church. In fact, there was only one business of note, which appeared to be the hub of this tiny community, and that was a public house. From the outside, the pub appeared old-fashioned and run down. The sign above the door was worn out and jaded, bearing a crudely painted motif. The pub was simply called Jack's Place, which I assumed was a reference to licensee. You know, most pubs in rural Ireland are family-owned and run. So there were a few signs of life to the place, though. But the door itself was left slightly ajar, and I could see dim light emanating from the inside, presumably indicating that the bar was open for business. So by this point, I was tired and fed up, not to mention drenched through to the bone. What's more, it was late in the day and would be getting dark soon. I didn't have a clue where I was at or how far it would be to walk to the next village or town. I reckon at least I could go inside to dry myself off and use their phone to call for a taxi. I thought perhaps they could rustle me up something to eat, and I might calm my nerves with a drink or two. Yes, I know. Too much drink had gotten me into this mess in the first place, but I'd had a rough day, and so much I reckoned I deserved at least a couple of pints after all I'd been through. I crossed the road and slowly pushed open the thick oak door of the public house. I didn't know why at the time, but I recall feeling a sense of trepidation just before I entered the pub. A kind of primal instinct that screamed inside my head, telling me to walk away and get the hell out of this place. I fought back this irrational feeling and told myself it made no sense. I forced myself to proceed. The first thing that hit me when I stepped inside was the wall of smoke, so dense and repugnant that it made me cough as I struggled to regain my breath. Now, the Republic of Ireland was one of the first countries in Europe to bring in a smoking ban in pubs and bars. So by 2010, this law had already been in place for several years. As such, I was surprised to find the rules being so blatantly ignored in this establishment. My guess was that the guards and health inspectors rarely came out to this remote location, so the patrons felt that they were safe enough to continue smoking indoors. I wasn't overly concerned in either case, since I was a social smoker myself and had fairly bohemian views when it came to laws such as this. It took a moment for the smoke to clear, allowing me to adjust my eyes to their surroundings, but the pub was kind of a dump, as expected. Its interior was dank and dreary, and the decor looked like it hadn't been updated for about a century. Now, regular pub patrons will know that many modern establishments go for the retro look, stocking bookshelves with old hardbacks and filling in their walls with antique memorabilia and the like. This wasn't one of those places. It was what younger patrons might describe as an old man's pub, where many changes or updates would surely result in grumbles from the old school regulars who didn't like change. My memory of the surroundings isn't the best, but let's see if I can describe it. The wood floor underneath my feet was sticky, and, I suspected, not often cleaned. In addition to the plumes of tobacco smoke, my nostrils also picked up the familiar stench of spilt alcohol and stale urine. The bar, which was unmanned when I first walked in, looked filthy, and its wooden top was stained and cracked. I saw a number of unlabeled spirit bottles displayed on shelves above the bar, some containing brown spirits, presumably whiskey, while others held a clear liquor, which I guess could illicitly could be illicitly brewed protein, which was common enough in these parts. The walls of the pub were adorned by a number of old black and white photographs, most of them stained yellow by the year's worth of tobacco smoke, and several had cracked or broken frames. The pictures were all local scenes, many being of farming families clad in Victorian-era clothing. Their grim and austere facial expressions told a story, that of a harsh life etched out upon an unforgiving and barren landscape. There was something rather eerie and unsettling about those old photographs, though, and I found that I couldn't look at any of them for too long. It was almost as if their eyes were following me as I sheepishly moved through the bar. Somehow I felt as if they were judging me, although of course that was impossible. The pub's interior was dark, and I soon realized why. There were no electrical lights anywhere inside of the building. The only illumination was coming from a number of lit candles placed on the tables in the bar top, and a turf burning fire in an old-fashioned fireplace at the far end of the room was helping as well. I glanced across the booths facing the bar, noticing that they were currently a grand total of 3 patrons drinking and smoking, but otherwise not interacting with each other in any manner. At the first table sat 2 older men, both of whom I reckoned were in their late 60s or early 70s. Both had weathered faces and thinning gray hair, and they both wore tweed jackets, shirts, and ties, looking as if they'd come straight from the evening mass. The men were nursing pints of stout and old-fashioned glasses and smoking from their pipes. Both looked up at me with hostile suspicion in their eyes, as if I was an alien invader who'd suddenly stepped into their world uninvited. I nodded to the men and said hello, hoping to diffuse some of the tension, but neither of them responded to my greeting. Instead, they continued to stare at me accusingly, making me feel extremely uncomfortable. I lowered my head and walked on. The lone occupant of the next booth was a middle-aged woman wearing entirely black, her eyes cast down to an empty whiskey glass sitting on the table in front of her, and as she took long drags from a cigarette, she was sobbing slightly. She looked up as I passed. Her eyes were filled with tears and her cheeks puffed up red. I saw her upper lip tremble and thought she was going to speak, but instead she just lowered her head, once again hiding her tear-filled face. Clearly, the woman was upset. I wondered if I should say something, but I never was too good at that emotional crap, and frankly, it wasn't my problem, so I moved on. I stood in front of the fireplace, enjoying the heat from the flames and hoping it would dry my wet clothes after hours spent trudging through the heavy rain. As I warmed myself, I looked over at the unattended bar and called out, saying, "Any chance of some service out here?" There followed a moment of awkward silence before a girl emerged from the back door behind the bar. The barmaid was a young woman, perhaps in her early to mid-20s. She was of slight build and medium height, with her long brunette hair tied back in a bun. I would have described her as attractive, but her choice of clothing didn't exactly highlight her best features. Wink, wink. She wore a conservative Victorian-style long dress which fully covered her cleavage. And, like the sobbing woman in the booth, I noticed how the barmaid was also clad in all black, like she had just come from a wake or a funeral. She wore no makeup on her face and her complexion was pale, although I did notice her natural ruby red lips and expressive green eyes. She didn't look in great form, however, and she was glaring at me suspiciously as she walked to her station, considering me more as an inconvenience or annoyance rather than a valued customer waiting to be served. This wasn't exactly the warm welcome I would have liked, but I've always considered myself as something of a smooth talker, and so I reckon I could win her over. Evening, love. Thought I was going to die of thirst out there. Still, I can see you run off your feet. I shot her a cheeky smile and a wink, but I didn't get the reaction I'd hoped for. The barmaid frowned, looking me over with contempt like I was something unpleasant she'd stepped in. "You look like a drowned rat," she said dismissively. I laughed nervously before her replied. Yeah, well, I'll admit I'm not looking my best right now. I've had a rough day and was hoping for some traditional Donegal hospitality. Her ice-cold demeanor didn't thaw, and she abruptly asked, "What do you want?" "Oh, I'll start with a pint and a whiskey chaser," I replied with a smile. "I could use a drink while I dry off." I paused for a moment before asking my next question. "I don't suppose you have a phone I could use?" I inquired. She looked back at me with an expression of confusion evident on her face, pausing for a moment before responding with a definite no. "Of course you don't," I muttered in frustration as I moved away from the fireplace and parked myself on a stool facing the bar. I watched as the barmaid poured me a shot of whiskey straight from the bottle, and then proceeded to pour a pint of frothy black stout using an old-fashioned, hand-operated pump. All very old school. She placed the drinks in front of me without ceremony, spilling some of the contents in the pint while doing so. She didn't tell me the cause to ring up the till. In fact, the bar didn't even seem to have a till. I dug into my pocket and pulled out a €5 note, placing it on the bar. She stared at it in confusion for several seconds, looking at it like it wasn't the type of payment she had expected. Finally, after a tense delay, she lifted up the paper note and took it with her as she retreated into the back room. "Great," I muttered sarcastically. Clearly, I wasn't going to get any help from this moody cow. Thanks, Alyssa. Clearly, I wasn't going to get any help from this moody cow. I took a big gulp from my pint glass and followed up with a sip of hard whiskey, savoring the warmth of the strong liquor as it made its way down my throat. Then I pondered what I would do next. For whatever reason, the barmaid had been less than helpful, and the handful of patrons present were dead to the world. But surely there was someone in the stub who could call me a cab. So I decided to bide my time and finish my drink in the hopes that someone a bit more amenable would turn up. And as it turned out, I didn't have to wait for very long. This is why I hate reading shit. The enigmatic figure appeared as if from nowhere, stepping out from the shadows and confidently marching across the barroom floor. I hadn't spotted him standing in the corner of the room, which was surprising given that he was hard to miss. The newcomer was a large man, plump to the point of being obese. The clothes he wore were old-fashioned and scruffy, consisting of a worn-out tweed jacket, a shirt, and a bow tie, and a brown waistcoat that barely contained his ample belly. His trousers were covered in dry mud, and his old boots had holes in the leather. Given his unkempt appearance, this man could easily have been mistaken for a tramp. The smell didn't help either, as he stank from a putrid mix of alcohol, cigarette smoke, and body odor. It was hard to guess his age, although I reckon the fellow was in his 50s or 60s. His face was fat and as red as a beetroot, likely the result of a lifetime of heavy drinking. Nevertheless, the drunkard appeared relatively sober and amicable. He staggered toward me, shooting a broad grin that exposed yellow teeth. I might have assumed he was harmless, but when I looked into his dark brown eyes, I saw a sly cunning that put me on guard. The man spoke first, and his voice was deep and croaky. "Good evening, young man," he said with a smile. "My name is Stingy Jack, and this here is my establishment." He held out his hand, which I reluctantly took. His skin was ice cold. His shape was firm. "Pleased to meet you, Jack," I answered without much enthusiasm. I didn't think much of Stingy Jack, or his decrepit old pup, but at least he was more friendly than the barmaid. "You're a stranger to these parts," Jack added. "Then again, most folks are. I trust you're being treated well." I scoffed, thinking of the cold reception from the barmaid. But when I turned back to the bar, I saw her standing there, staring down at me accusingly. For some reason I couldn't explain, I felt rather intimidated by the young woman. So I replied meekly, saying, "Yeah, I have no complaints." Jack surprised me with his reaction. Suddenly he bellowed loudly, his raucous laughter filling the room. He nodded toward the silent barmaid, meeting her eye. "Well, Molly here has worked for the family over many years. She isn't always the most courteous, but I can assure you she is reliable." I nodded my head, not knowing how to respond. Instead, I turned and looked upon the trio of patrons, noting with some concern that we were being watched. The 2 old men and the sobbing widow had all turned to face us, glaring upon me and Jack with barely disguised hostility in their eyes. I suddenly felt quite uncomfortable, turning back toward Jack to seek some reassurance. Jack laughed once more, patting me hard on the shoulder with his ice-cold hand as he did. "Don't worry about that lot," he proclaimed amicably. "My regulars are the parochial type. Me, on the other hand, I always welcome new custom." I feigned a smile as I glanced up at Jack's broken smile, before lowering my head and taking another drink. I hoped he would leave me be, at least for the time being, but no such luck. "Let me ask you a question, young man," Jack added in a thoughtful tone. "I noticed you said nothing when I introduced myself. Don't tell me you haven't heard of me. Have you never heard the story of Stingy Jack?" I looked up to meet his gaze, noting the twinkle in his eye. Stingy Jack. The name did ring a bell in the back of my mind, but I couldn't quite place it. Had this old drunkard once been a minor celebrity or a local politician? I didn't necessarily want to offend the man, but my mind was drawing a blank. "Sorry, friend," I replied sheepishly. "I can't say that I have." Jack laughed and once again slapped me on the shoulder. "Don't worry about it, son. You're a hot-blooded young lad and no doubt have no time for old wives' tales. I guess I'm not as famous as I used to be back in the day. But lucky for you, Molly knows my life story better than anybody. She could recite it in her sleep, no doubt. Now then, Molly, would you care to enlighten our uninformed young friend?" Jack looked back at the barmaid expectantly, as did I. Jack's banner had drawn me in, and I went against my better judgment and listened intently. Molly sighed loudly, rolling her eyes before she began her unenthusiastically told account. She nodded toward her gregarious boss before speaking. "The gentleman here is the famous Stingy Jack, the man who fooled the devil. Once upon a time, Jack was known throughout the land as a deceiver and a manipulator. In time, the devil overheard the tales of Jack's silver tongue and wicked deeds, and one night he sought Jack out, wishing to discover whether he lived up to his notorious reputation. On that fateful night, Jack here was drunk and wandering through the countryside when he came across a body lying in his path. The unscrupulous Jack tried to rob the stricken man, only to discover he was the devil in disguise. Realizing this was surely the end for him, Jack made a last request to the devil, asking to enjoy one final ale before he was taken to hell. Upon quenching his thirst in a local bar, Jack confessed that he was unable to pay his tab. Chancing his arm, Jack asked the devil to transform himself into a silver coin which he could use to pay the bartender. The devil was impressed by Jack's nefarious cunning and therefore agreed to his unorthodox request. However, Jack had tricked the devil by dropping the transmogrified coin into his jacket pocket, which also contained a crucifix. The presence of this holy symbol prevented the devil from escaping his form, and so he was left at Jack's mercy. She sighed before continuing. The ever-cunning Jack
agreed to release the devil, but on the condition that his soul would never be taken into the depths of hell.
The barmaid paused once again, and I was sure I could see a slight glint in her eye as she spoke the next words.
Jack's immortal soul was safe from the devil's clutches, but his physical body was ravaged by years of drinking and debauchery, and eventually he died. Jack's soul made its way to the gates of St. Peter, but God would not allow entry into heaven, citing his awful and deceitful lifestyle. Thus banned from both heaven and hell, Stingy Jack's immortal soul was doomed to roam the world between the two planes of good and evil for all eternity. And so here he is.
She nodded toward the man who stood before me. I looked back toward my host in bafflement, noting how he retained the smile, but now had a look of sadness and regret etched across his weathered face. Needless to say, I was quite taken aback by this bizarre tale, and I had instantly wondered what kind of scam these yokels were trying to pull on me. Did they really expect me to believe this rubbish? Either Jack and his barmaid were playing a joke on me, or they were both totally nuts. Either way, I desperately wanted this uncomfortable conversation to end, but Jack wasn't having it.
So what do you make of my sorrowful tale, young man?
He asked. I shrugged both my shoulders, trying to think of an answer that wouldn't push this potentially crazy person over the edge. Well, Jack, the devil in that story sounds like a fucking idiot. Looked up at Jack, wondering if any joke would diffuse the tension. Thankfully, he blew out in laughter and spoke in agreement.
Too true, young man, too true. You're forgetting just how persuasive old Stingy Jack can be. The type who can sell snow to the Eskimos.
He laughed again as I took another swig from my drink, draining my pint glass and downing what remained of my whiskey. Jack noticed how my glasses were now empty and motioned to his barmaid, saying,
"Our new friend here needs another round."
And I shook my head and waved in the negative, trying to be polite but firm as I replied, "No, honestly, Jack. Really, I shouldn't." Jack did appear somewhat put out. He frowned and his smile faltered ever so slightly as he spoke.
"You don't seem the type to turn down a drink. What is it that you want, son?"
Thought about this for a minute and considered regaling Jack with the tale of my misfortunes during the course of the weekend, but in the end my answer was a simple one. "I just want to get home, Jack," I said. Jack's grin widened once more, and he nodded his head in the affirmative, acting as if he expected me to give this answer all along.
"Of course," he bellowed. "You want to get home, and who can blame you? Isn't that what we all want at the end of the day? To have a place to return to, a place where we belong and feel safe?"
He paused for a moment, looking thoughtful as he considered his next words.
"I'll tell you what, son. What would you say if I could give you what you want? I can help you get home. I'll even throw in a large whiskey on the house. A stiff one for the road, as they say. What do you reckon, young man?"
He placed his cold hand on my shoulder, causing me to wince ever so slightly. Jack's offer sounded great on the surface, but I didn't really trust the man. The whole situation felt off. I answered shrewdly, saying, "That's very generous of you, Jack, but I can't help but feel there's a catch involved." For a fleeting moment I worried I'd gone too far, and so I was almost relieved when Jack laughed aloud and slapped me on the back once again.
"There's no flies on you, son, is there?"
he acknowledged, while raising his hands in a mocking defensive gesture.
"Well, you've heard my story and probably guess I'm not the altruistic type. That said, I've always enjoyed a good old wager. Are you a gambling man yourself, son?"
I shrugged my shoulders before replying. "I have the odd flutter." Jack laughed once again.
Sure you do, young man. I bet you got quite the poker face, too. I'd love to play cards with you sometime. But alas, I don't have the time.
I'll confess that I was quite intrigued at this point. Despite his shabby appearance, Jack was charismatic and was successful at drawing me in. Well, if not cards, what do you have in mind? I inquired. I saw a mischievous twinkle in Jack's eye, a sly cunning that should have raised alarm bells, but didn't.
A coin toss. Best of 3. Dead simple, Jack confirmed. I scoffed at the suggestion.
There's no skill in that, I replied.
Perhaps not, but it all depends on whether you're feeling lucky, Jack replied slyly. And don't forget, if you win, it's a free drink and you get to go home.
And what happens if you win? I asked suspiciously. What do I stand to lose?
Oh, nothing much,
said Jack with a cheeky grin on his lips.
Just your immortal soul.
This time it was my turn to laugh. I'll confess this was the last thing I'd expected to hear.
My soul?
I exclaimed. Are you serious, man? I'm sorry to tell you, Jack, but I'm afraid you're a bit too late for that. Now, at that stage of my life, I was a confirmed atheist. I didn't believe in God, the afterlife, or any of that, and I certainly didn't believe that I had a soul. As far as I was concerned, life was for living, and I was determined to cram in as much hedonistic pleasure as I could before my body became old and tired. Obviously, what happened that night changed my perspective somewhat, but in that moment, I was totally confident in my lack of belief. But unwittingly, I played right in Jack's hands.
Well then, he said coyly, you've got nothing to lose, then have you?
By this point, the exchange had become a battle of wits. Jack waited for my answer, and I felt the eyes of the patrons and the barmaid on me. In retrospect, I should have realized something was very wrong with this situation and made for the door right then and there. But I was so arrogant that I didn't recognize the danger, and so I accepted the wager. You're on, I answered with a nod of my head. I rummaged through my pocket, but was unable to find what I was looking for. I don't have a spare coin, I confirmed.
Don't worry, son,
said Jack with a sly grin and a wink.
I've got my own right here.
He removed the item from his jacket pocket and tossed it under the bar top. I reacted quickly, stopping the coin under my right hand, feeling the cold metal against my palm. I slowly lifted my hand and revealed the silver coin underneath. The coin was one I'd never seen before in my whole life. It wasn't sterling, euro, or even an old punt. It appeared shiny and new, like it had just been minted, but there was no indication I could see of its actual value. The imprints on the coin were bizarre and rather unsettling. On one side was the head profile of a sinister and demonic figure with horns, and on the other side was a coiled snake, its mouth attempting to swallow its own tail. The words engraved on both sides were in Latin and read Mors Vincit Omnia. I stared at it blankly for a moment before realizing the significance. Ah, see, I added with a sarcastic laugh. This is the devil, is it? Transformed into a coin? I grinned knowingly at Jack, but this time he didn't share my amusement, instead lowering his head before answering in a wistful tone.
No, son. This is just an ordinary coin. A replica, if you will. I released Lucifer from his form many years ago. But there's still a price to pay. He'll never leave me be, and I must give him what he wants.
He paused briefly, lifting his head and grinning once again, as he re-established his cheerful persona.
But that's not your problem, is it, young man? And I do believe we have a game to play.
He leaned in to pick up his coin, carefully balancing it on his thumb.
Heads or tails? Your call.
Now, I know what you're all thinking. Why would I risk my fate on something as arbitrary and unpredictable as the toss of a coin? Well, at that point I reckon Stingy Jack was either a drunken crackpot or At worst, some kind of comment. Either way, I reckon I was savvy enough to deal with him. And I thought he was playing his silly little game, and going along with it might be my best chance of getting out of this thing. I didn't think I was in any real danger, and certainly didn't believe I was risking my soul. So I nodded in agreement and answered, heads. Jack's smile widened, and I saw a wicked glint in his eye that made me feel uneasy. In that moment, Jack reminded me of a spider with a fly caught in its web, and I was the fly. But I reckoned it was too late to back out now. I just had to hope for the best. Tension inside of that small bar room suddenly became unbearable. Molly, the barmaid, and 3 odd patrons were all waiting intently, as if there was nothing else in their little world other than Jack, me, and the coin. I held my breath as Jack casually flipped the coin, and I watched in fearful anticipation as it spun in the air. It seemed to take an age coming down, falling into Jack's waiting hand. He looked down, his eyes widening in excitement as he revealed the coin to me. Tails. The serpent. 1-0 to me, Jack proclaimed. My heart sank. I felt I had made a terrible mistake and it was going to cost me dearly. It seemed like all my bad life choices had finally caught up with me. I thought I was going to be sick as I helplessly watched Jack toss the coin for the second time, knowing that the outcome could well doom me for all eternity. Jack caught the coin, frowning in disappointment as he looked upon it. I glanced down and, to my relief, I saw the devil's head staring back at me. Thank God, I thought, but did not say. 1-all, I was still in it, but everything would come down to this final toss. Jack looked upon me, his grin and cheerful demeanor had gone, replaced by a look that was deadly serious. Are you ready for this? He asked me. I nodded my head meekly. I certainly wasn't ready, but I wanted this to be over, one way or another. I saw Jack flipping the coin, my head spinning as I watched it fall. My heart almost stopped as I forced myself to look into Jack's open palm. What I saw was the devil's head stared back up at me. It was heads. Were my eyes deceiving me? No. There was no doubt. 2 heads against 1 tails. I was victorious. Holy shit! I exclaimed in a burst of excitement. I did it! I won! I glanced up at Jack, expecting him to be gracious in defeat. But he was anything but. His face betrayed his barely contained rage. His eyes screwed up and cheeks burned a bright red. He didn't speak to me directly, but instead snarled through clenched teeth, conveying an order to his barmaid Molly. Get this bastard his whiskey, he growled. He can drink it and then get the hell out. I was angered by this remark. I'd won his stupid little game fair and square. What right did Jack have to treat me like this without thinking? I opened my mouth to challenge him. Jesus, you're a bloody sore loser, Jack. What the hell is your problem, old man? I regretted my ill-considered words as soon as I'd spoken them. To say that Jack didn't react well would be a vast understatement. He came in close to me, his eyes filled with an unholy fury. His words he spat at me were full of raw hatred, as if I'd suddenly become his worst enemy. You fucking asshole! You little shit! He growled. You think you're so damn clever, don't you? Well, let me tell you something, scumbag. Never try to trick a trickster. I eat the likes of you for breakfast. You're nothing to me. Just another dumb mark. Well, you may have won this round, but I'll get you in the end.
Mark my words, you fucker! Stingy Jack always gets his man.
I was left gobsmacked by Jack's sudden change and stung by his angry tirade. I recoiled on my bar stool, raising my hands defensively. I felt sure he would strike me, but he didn't. Instead, Jack took hold of the silver coin and furiously threw it against the open fireplace. What happened next defied any logical explanation. Suddenly, the flames spread rapidly, quickly engulfing the fireplace before expanding to consume the entire back wall of the bar room, fiercely burning through everything that stood in its path. I felt the heat from the flames burning my skin, and I kicked my bar stool, retreating from the rapidly growing inferno. Inexplicably, Jack did not retreat from the flames. Instead, he walked right toward them, showing no indication of discomfort or fear. I felt sure this whole place would go up in smoke in a matter of minutes, and so I knew I had to get out of there. At that moment, I glanced across at all three of the patrons, the old man and the widow, and then across to Molly, the barmaid, and what I saw was horrifying. All four stood facing me, completely ignoring the fire raging behind them. Their faces were now a ghostly pale, and their eyes had turned jet black. Every one of the four had their mouths open so wide that it seemed like their jaw had been dislocated. And then they all started to scream. The unholy sound that these ghouls emitted was horrific, piercing and high-pitched, unlike anything I'd heard in my entire life. Their cries were otherworldly, so sorrowful and full of pain. I covered my ears but could not drown out the terrible sound. Meanwhile, the fire raged on, the smoke stinging my eyes and filling my lungs. I struggled to see Jack through the smoke. By now he was fully engulfed in flames, and yet the fire did him no physical harm. He didn't burn, merely melted into the inferno. Before he left this world, Jack turned his head around and offered me some sinister parting words. He said, "We will meet again." I'd seen enough by that point, and so I charged for the door, shoving it open and sprinting out onto the street as the fire burnt fiercely behind me. I fell to my knees and I coughed frantically as a result of the smoke inhalation, and briefly I closed my eyes as I attempted to regain my senses. When I reopened them, everything had inexplicably changed. The fire was gone. And by the fire was gone, I don't mean that it had inexplicably burned itself out. It had literally disappeared, with not even a burning ember left behind. The pub? That had also vanished, replaced by ruins that had clearly been abandoned for decades. There was nothing there except for bare stone foundations, weathered after years of exposure to the elements. I frantically looked around and discovered the entire village had also mysteriously vanished, with nothing left but long abandoned ruins. There was no sign of Jack, Molly, the patrons, or anyone else for that matter. It was all alone. There was nothing but the night sky and the stars above me. Now, all of this was 10 years ago. Evidently, I survived my encounter with Stingy Jack, making my way back home and attempting to put the bizarre and inexplicable event behind me. I'd like to say that night was a life-changing event, but it wasn't. To be fair, I did try to turn my life around, but I soon fell back into my old habits. They say a leopard can't change its spots, and I've long accepted that I'll never be a good person. What can I say? I get bored too easily. I never told anyone what happened that night. Not until now. So why have I broken my silence? Well, it's mostly because of what happened to me a fortnight ago. I was having a quiet pint in my local, sipping on my beer as I half watched the football match on the big screen. It was a normal night with nothing out of the ordinary. That was until I spotted a solitary silver coin resting on the bar top. I reached out for it, my hand shaking as my heart beat faster in nervous anticipation. You probably already guessed this, but it was Jack's coin. When I say it was Jack's coin, I don't mean it was Jack's coin. I mean, it was Jack's coin, complete with the devil's head, snake, and the Latin words, which I now know translates as "Death conquers all." I don't know what this means. Jack told me we would meet again. I know he's coming back for me. I don't know where or when, but I have no doubt he will find me soon enough. I'm not afraid. This time I'll come prepared with knowledge. When he challenges me, I'll choose the game. I'll make sure it's something I'm good at. I won't just ask for a drink and safe passage home this time. When I win, I'll demand a real prize. Immense wealth, fame, women, perhaps even the chance to relive my youth. Possibilities are limitless. I will beat Stingy Jack again. I'll get everything I ever wanted in return. So wish me luck. Not that I'll need it. See you all on the other side. Oh, the end. Woo! What has been going on in the chat? Sorry guys, if you guys have joined the stream a little bit late and don't know, not really watching the stream a ton. I see that Dan was in here for a minute. Late hello, Dan. Let's see. Jeffrey Champion. In new news for people that think they know history, there's 300 years of lost history. Say we live in 1725 that 4 people got together and they wanted to live in the year 1000. Okay, cool. Hello, Jeffrey. We lost your virginity. This is definitely the story. That was definitely the story of when I lost my virginity. 100%.
Ooh, you look thirsty.
Voice effects captures the feeling so well. This is probably going to be my first stream in a while that I actually go back and watch the entire thing again. Because this is something I would like to do every so often. I know I've kind of fucked it up a couple of times. I'm a little bit buzzed. Normally I'm much better at reading and narrating. And so I'm a little disappointed at my fucking reading skills tonight. That said, I am glad that the voice effects is actually capturing the emotion and going through it, because that is the goal. But here's Roxy's hydrate before I keep going through the chat. Let's see. Can't wait to play D&D. These voices are gonna be so dope. Yeah, let's go. Let's see. Fine, just waking up. Hey, Inga! How to redeem points. Can't get you a drink. Somebody, did you not do that? Somebody did. Also, thanks for the gift sub earlier, Roxy, and thanks for resubbing Elena. Listening while gaming? Yep. Fun, words are hard. VFX is shit, if I'm completely honest. Well, I mean, I spent a total of maybe 10 minutes setting it up, so, I'm not terribly offended by that. It was literally, okay, so the VFX, I'm going to turn this off real quick.
This version of the voice effects right here that we're using for the stream, this was simple. If you remember when I was mixing that song yesterday and I told you I turned on the picture and I kept jumping down rabbit holes. This is the result of one of the rabbit holes that I was running down while I was mixing that song. So this is maybe like 10 minutes of me playing around there, because of a rabbit hole I found yesterday. So, no.
Next year, if this is a recurring thing that we end up doing on Halloween again, this is something that we'll flesh out in the next year. Now, this layer right here
that I just turned off, that kind of gives you a little bit more clarity, that was something that was added
literally last minute for the stream. Let's see. Mud, yes. Yeah. Also a latency issue. No, there's no latency issue. I have an intentional delay. So that in and of itself is not a latency issue. That's just how the delay worked out. But I could shift that if I wanted to. I just don't. Because we actually set up the delay after we had the actual effect that we wanted to use. If you jumped in the voice chat every now and then, you could give these thoughts beforehand. Just throw that out there. What up, Mary? Let's see. It's spooky. Yes. And that was the intent. The intentional delay is fucking up my enjoyment. Want me to get you a bucket to cry into? Alright. Let's see. What do we... Alright, so Jiminator wanted to hear the... Or wanted to watch the... wanted to watch the clip from my stream a little while back. Now, I'd said this stream was going to go on an hour. We've been going an hour and a half right now. So, we'll probably do this and then we'll kill the stream. This is a Halloween tradition for the Alpha team. Not to cry, I need a bucket so I can piss all over your FX choices. These are not FX choices, again. These are part of a commonly used vocal chain that I use, that I just kind of cranked in different directions to set up for a live stream. Sir, you will not offend me by attacking the mix on this stream. Let's see. So, do you guys remember what stream that was from? I know roughly which stream it was from. Hold on. So it was definitely an October stream. I think it was about 3 years ago. Halloween 2020. That sounds pretty accurate. Let's see. Oh wait, looking at dates in the wrong direction. No, why are you not giving me? Oldest first. Do you know how dates work, bitch? Aha. September, October. Okay, October 2020. First time playing Faz. Drinking with my boys. Games. Reactions. I just realized too, my I Think the God interview from 2020 is still blocked by YouTube. Big sad. Big sad. Was it this one? Hold on. Let's take a minute, everybody, to get your sips in. Appreciate the gift sub, Elena. Also appreciate that one from the anonymous donor earlier, 5 minutes ago. Oh, I found it. Hold up. I'm 90% sure that I found it. Yep. Alright. Prepare yourselves. So this is from, for future reference, let's just do this whole video again. I'll let myself introduce the video. We did live streams a little bit differently back then for all you guys. I'm real laggy. I don't think that you're laggy, someone. That is the ambience that we have for the evening. All right. So I found the stream. Here we go. It was definitely not Roxy. What was definitely not Roxy? What was, huh? What do you mean? I'm confused. Alright. Does it look better if I do it like this? Let's turn on screen capture. What do you guys like? Oh no, that blocks my face. Okay, hold up. We'll do this one. Discord teams. You sent me a request? Okay. I'll throw it on. We'll close with that one. I got you though, Jason. Appreciate it. Oh, the anonymous? No, that was not Roxy. Roxy, yeah. Roxy throws me off sometimes, but definitely would watch this, but I can't. No worries, someone. Appreciate you rolling through. All right. So we'll just we'll go back to that day, and we'll do the whole stream as it was intended, pausing where we need to. Let's go. Do I have this muted? I do. Alright, hold up.
It's like,
Hold on. Oh, we're on level 2 already? Hold up. I remember this one. This was supposed to take, like, levels to actually do. Didn't back up nearly long enough. I'm gonna let myself from 2 years and change ago introduce it as it happened on the stream. Again, this is a Halloween tradition. So if this is your first Halloween with the Alpha team, you guys know this is part of the lore. You're being inducted from this reaction. This is the first time I've actually done it with like sound effects and stuff like that. But so we're doing it. Fun fact, we're actually doing it on the same mic that I used back in these days. God bless. Okay. I didn't even pay for YouTube Premium back then. Look at this. I'm watching ads like a chode while I'm streaming. Okay. Let's go!
Okay. It's got 11 million views and 11,500 likes. So it looks like this might be popping.
Oh, I was drunk. Do you hear my
You
voice?
guys can see the video with
I was
me.
definitely
Not
drunk.
that big. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go turn off the lights real quick.
Yes. Go turn out the lights.
Don't make fun of my Batman jammies.
I'm making fun of him. You look like a fucking chode. Thanks for the anonymous submission or gift sub. Yes. Thank you. Wow, scare you sober. Apparently, you did scare me sober.
We get the lights out. We ready to rock with it.
Look at this cute guy. Actually, I'm wearing pants today. I'm wearing the same pants that I was wearing in my Jay and Silent Bob costume. So if you know what I look like as Silent Bob, then you know what pants I'm wearing right now. And a fucking hoodie. And I'm actually like sweating because I didn't wear a hat down here, and I don't do streams without a hat. Let's go. That's... Thanks, dog.
Let's see. Meme or Leave TV. What up, Meme or Leave TV? We about to hit up
That dress was not way more scary.
this video.
Hold on. There was the super chat for Formula One said that ass. Alright. Let's see here.
It's apparently something we shouldn't be watching at night. We already turned out the lights. Batman Jams.
Just so you guys understand too, my stream at the time, my desk was set up behind me and to the left of where I'm at right now. And so like we're literally just
Batman fan 2, it's all good. Hey, legit, my next tattoo is gonna be. Let me look at my camera real quick, make sure that y'all can see what I'm talking about. My next tattoo is gonna be a tribal Batman right here.
and it up. Yo, y'all hear? I didn't even realize I talked about that there though. Like, y'all see though? It happened. It happened. Let's go. Goals set. Goals met. You know what I'm saying?
Right above my Ivysaur. So I'm piecing this together as a sleeve, as like a nerdy tribal type weird off color sleeve. We get the lights out though. We're ready to hit up some scary things. Take some courage juice real quick. Nobody judge.
I'm drinking Evan Williams. Bottled in bond. 100 proof. Bro, we were budgeting back then for stream drinks. Anybody want to take a cilantro right now to my man in the past? Like, let's go. Cilantro. 3, 2, 1, 2. Oh, hold up. I'll give it a 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cilantro to my man in the past right here. Let's go. Nope, that's it. Yep. Oh, I can hear myself.
Dope, can't wait to see. Let's see. What's up, guys?
Come
How are
on,
you?
get some shit going.
I'm good. How are you? Welcome to the chat. Also, Meme Relieve TV.
Bro, you look drunk.
We're about to make a meme, so I don't know what you got going on over on your side. Let's see, just see you take a shot. What I missed. Ah, Gabe, you made it back just in time. We were watching a video that is titled, "Do not watch this video at night." I don't know what happened. Phasmophobia crashed on me. I already died anyway, and that was the longest level I've ever played on that game. So we're jumping into, do not watch this video at night. We're watching it at night.
I miss Gabe too, Roxy.
I mean, what could go wrong, right? Let's make this big. Kill this music. Let's go. Let's make sure these closed captions are turned off, though. Let's go. Y'all ready?
In retrospect, just so you all know, I actually talked to Gabe on Instagram the other day. He's doing pretty well, Elena, since you asked. But if you get okay, hold up, because had I left closed captions on, we would not be in this situation right now, because I would have saw knock, knock, knock on the closed captions. I just want you guys to appreciate that for what we're about to see.
See 3 of y'all active. I need 3 yeses in the chat, and we're gonna go. We're gonna get at it.
Oh, and he's drinking a White Claw too.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna chug before this. Famous last words. I got 1 yes. I got 2 yeses. Where you at, Meme Relief? I'm leaning on you for that 3rd yes.
Your boy was committed back in the day.
Meme Relief might have left us. There wasn't a meme here, I guess. That's fine. We gonna go anyway.
Oh, soft. Imagine being bitch made.
Oh wait, yo, this channel gonna be amazing. My boy Funny sounds like you country. Where I am drinks whiskey, by the way. I'm just an edgy high schooler, but I'm loving this so far. Hey, it's gonna be fun. I've got a high tolerance for the scary. I'm gonna tell y'all. We got the 3. I'm gonna tell y'all. I have a high tolerance for scary things. Like,
You also drunk as fuck, bitch.
I'm a big fan of when Arctic Kicks does like the scary video views.
But you drunker than he is.
Like, real talk, like it. I ain't seen a ton of these that really scared me yet. So
Well, no shit. Because most of this shit ain't scary. It ain't fucking reaching down your throat until it's knocking around your fucking eardrums.
so, like, don't be too upset if this one don't really hit it.
Yes, for everyone who doesn't know, make sure to thank Jason at some point if you enjoy what you're about to see, because he did request this video, so.
But we going through this together, right?
Also, can we shout out, like, your boy's stream setup has leveled up a ton.
I'm gonna ask you guys, make this full screen. Let's go. And also, Meme Relief TV. I don't drink whiskey. I drink bourbon. Kentucky
Facts.
bourbon, to be exact.
Scotch sometimes too, though.
Bourbon. Kentucky bourbon, to be exact. We're jumping on in. Let's go. This better not be the scariest part of the video. The following video contains content that some viewers may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Sure, I'll make sure that we make sure viewer discretion is advised. Everybody, please don't watch this if you are too squeamish.
Yeah.
Let's see. Meme relief.
Get into the shit, bitch!
Fisherman. Alright, I'll give you a second to hop on the computer. Mostly because if this video is actually scary, like, this is gonna be the first one that I feel like a chump on. Like, because I've done I think I've done this one time before. I checked out the scary videos. It was right when AOK started doing it. They started getting suggested to me.
Imagine a world where AlphaTyler still talks about Art of Kicks.
A lot.
I know, why is this motherfucker talking so much, Roxy?
Categorized
Oh, fuck. What up, Scheme? This is a stream I did like 2 years ago. You'll enjoy it. Hang around for a minute for there's one point that everybody wants to see. I hopped on to say I'm high and high you fucking do this. Oh yeah. No, watch this shit. Watch this shit at least to the fucking hit point.
Didn't know it was categorized different.
I'm not high. I was something yesterday. Right now I'm buzzed. In this video I'm fucking drunk.
Didn't know it was categorized differently, but you lit, bro. Hey, I'm from Kentucky, so if you're new to the channel, you might not know that. Being in Kentucky...
This is the way to go, though. Hey, come on. This is our Halloween stream. Let's go.
We take bourbon very seriously. It is not real bourbon if it is not made in Kentucky. And so that's
Was I talking to Alan here?
People you'll probably ever hit that
Not
make
Elena.
distinction. But yeah, with whiskey you got whiskey.
Wait, Elena, you're not leaving. Did somebody say good night? If anybody's leaving, good night.
You've got scotch and you've got bourbon. At least with scotch and bourbon, there are specific
What up, Jorge?
lines on what is considered scotch and bourbon.
I haven't reacted to it yet, Scheme. No spoilers here. I'm gonna record my reaction tomorrow. I was trick-or-treating with my daughter, and then I had to stream after, so today was a bad day. And you don't love me enough to have sent me an early link this time, so Big said...
Coming from high school, we got to make sure to learn him right. Absolutely. We got to make sure that he's ready. All right. Y'all already said yeah. We ready? I think he's had a minute to jump over to the computer. I'll make this big screen. Y'all full screen it. Let's go. Just like you watching it with me. Come on. And a reaction for a blame it on Jorge, but didn't get a lot of traffic though. All right, we going. I don't know what blame it on Jorge is. You can explain that to me in a minute. Let's go.
Jorge, I just shouted you out in the stream that we're watching from 2 years ago. Let's go. Was that actually you?
Lights off, headphones on. We good? No hiding in the comments.
I don't think that was you. But let's go.
Rules. Lights off, headphones on. We good? No hiding
We have
in the
that
comment
shit. Let's
section.
go.
Hey man, this guy already knows what we're doing.
If y'all spooked,
lights off,
say it in the chat.
headphones on.
Because we're watching this with me.
Alright, let's go. Let's go.
Happy Halloween, though.
Level 1, images. Images, okay. That ain't that bad. Okay, I will say, images like this kind of spook me a little bit.
There's nothing
because I'm
scary
on
about
the
this.
And like,
Pussy!
If you walk back to the
Unpause!
yard, you're gonna find like that tree line.
Hit
I
play,
know that's
bitch!
That tree line, because this tree right here, I don't know if y'all can see my mouse cursor. This one right here looks broken a little bit. I ain't got that going on in my backyard.
I do now, thanks to a lightning strike.
But I mean, we close.
No joke, though, Scheme. What are these fucking pictures, though? Like, looking back, there's nothing scary in level 1 at all. I'm putting both my headphones on for this. I gotta be in the moment. A Scheme! I agree. There is one point in this that you'll appreciate, though.
Inhale, help me. Okay. Yo, that's from the movie The Strangers right there. I'm calling you out. You put a picture from a movie in this. I gotta walk up some stairs later. Why you gotta be like that? Alright, stage 2 had better be better. Yeah, we made it through level 1. We fine. Everybody still with me after level 1?
Yeah!
I'm gonna pause right here. Everybody still with me? Yep, they is cheating. Exactly. They putting movie things in here. Alright, we on level 2. Level 2. What is level 2? Short clips? Yo, this is a 12-minute video. We only 2 minutes in. Come on, level 2.
Take a drink? Alright, I'll take a drink. I don't give a fuck. I want more. Cilantro!
What is level 2? You ain't even gonna tell me? Got an eyelash that's like hitting my cam light up here. That was a what? Come on now. Level 3 is gifts. Okay. Alright, we're getting into it. Level 2 was whack. I'm gonna tell you who made this.
Wait, half of these... What? Twitch what? Oh, it's good. Fuck. I can't stand having this fucking echo in my preview. It's good only because of my reaction to 1 point. Half of these are Twitch only, and that's perfectly unacceptable. I agree. Drunk Alpha is fearless. No, I am fearless, though. Like, when I'm drunk. It's not a good thing. That's led to my arrest a couple of times, so. Don't need the context. Oh, no. We gotta go, though.
Dark Quarters, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna subscribe right now because I feel like you make some content that I might want to.
No, Geminator.
Level 2 was whack. Level 3 is gifts. We're gonna see if level 3 gets us. We're gonna.
Geminator, you're full of shit. Because it's not getting in the way of my video at all. Can I turn it off? Yes. I can turn it off as easily as doing this. And now there's no effect. But I'm not going to turn it off because it's not impacting the video. Because it's not set to that fucking layer of my audio on my stream.
I'll take some more courage juice real quick though. Alright, let's go level 3.
I agree, Scheme.
Forgot I can't subscribe like that and then hit the space bar. Level 3, let's go.
Some say I'm too good. Some say I'm
We got an Amy McGrath ad. This is the scariest thing I've seen yet.
Shout out to anybody who remembers her running.
Mitch McConnell's bad, but if y'all in Kentucky don't vote for Amy McGrath.
too conservative. Look, I'm a mother of 3. I'm Catholic. I'm a dog person. I serve more than 20.
God bless. We gotta skip past this woman. Okay.
red one. That's who I am.
You already put on a blue jersey. Oh, hang on. We gotta back up level 3 gifts. There we go. Let's get that spooky thing out of the way. I mean, they ain't... You gotta have some build up for something like this.
Look at Scheme.
Oh.
And now it's
we got
not.
This, oh, we got this. Ain't nobody behind me with syringes on their fingers, right? Woo! Is that an alien?
That's where I start getting a little spooked.
Woo! Nothing. Ain't no sound here at all either.
This is why.
Woo! I ain't scared yet, but come on now. Oh, is that at her house? What? I feel like this would be better if I had like the actual video it's coming from. Come on now. Look at that again. Like, tell me this wouldn't be better if you were watching the actual video. Look at this chick. Yeah, we ain't worried about you or you. That right there, man. Gosh. That would be better with the actual video, right? Woo! What? Hang on, was that knock? Y'all hear a knock too?
You can hear the fucking audio, though. Like, you can hear it. Listen to the background. I'm talking to my wife. Because if you notice, I had gotten up and left. Thank you.
He's been standing in the hallway looking at the bedroom.
I'm still gone. Like, when this was recorded, I'm not even watching this shit. Like, I was gone at the knocks. But watch when I come back. Lights on. The light comes on, and then watch this shit. Look what I got.
Alright, hang on. Woo!
So I actually, for the record, went outside, did a full circle around my house, because I thought that shit was actually knocking on my walls and shit.
Boys, hang on. We on something right now. Hang on. We had to go grab the shotgun. I literally just went outside my house. Hang on. I literally just walked outside my house. Tell me for real. I'm gonna pull up the chat real quick. We're gonna take a pause. Has y'all hear that knock in the video, or was that coming through my mic? Like, what's going on there? We'll back up and find out. Hang on. Found since we tried challenging ourselves, these videos aren't as good as the hype as we hype them to be, or we wish them to be. True Gabe. I wonder if demons ever fight for a person or anything, like if there are two. Hearing a knock, what was that knocking? You were the video, I'm assuming it's Sierra. Should call 911, where'd you go? That one actually moved my head a little, but yeah. Heard that before, playing on streamers. Before going through super chats, you tell us we heard knocking. We gon'...
No, it wasn't knocking. That was in the video.
Man, I don't know. We gonna unplug this real quick. I'm gonna unplug my headphones. I'm gonna play this back for a second. We gonna find out if I need to go out in my yard and shoot something real quick. Cause it was with that girl, right? Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Ah! That's on the video. Okay. Listen. I ain't playing. Like I said, we in Kentucky, man. We play straight up on the, if somebody's at my window, there is a window, literally, y'all can't see it. There's a window literally behind the camera right there. So I live in a split level, and the way my house is laid out, I'm downstairs. So you walk in the front door, there's a downstairs and an upstairs. And there is a window literally like I'm almost touching it right now. Okay? And so where the microphone is at, if somebody was tapping on my window, y'all would have heard it. Just exactly like that. And so when I heard that tap on the window, I thought somebody was like, saw me with the lights out and everything, tapping on the window. And I'm ready to go at it. Because, I mean, like I said, you know, I ain't playing. If somebody's tapping on the window at 2:22 a.m. at my house, if you ain't texted already, you're going to have a gun in your face when I answer the door. Real talk.
And that's why. Do I still have that shotgun? Yes. Why would I get rid of it? Alright. So that was the clip. That was forever ago. That was some old shit. Alright. So let's... We got one request in here. And we'll close out the stream with this. Jason sent me this one. And so I guess we're gonna try to top it with TikTok clips. Okay. Okay. We're gonna try and top that level. Hold up. Me. What the why do I have so many fucking windows open? YouTube history copy. Alright, so we're reacting to this one like fresh as fuck. And then we'll call it a happy Halloween after this one. After party is, as always, over in the Dick Sword. Let's see. We both going in blind. Good deal. We're both going in blind. Alright. Y'all want to see it like this? Or you want to do it like this? Which one do you like? This? Or this? This is one. This is two. Computer freak. 2, 1. 2 and 1 are equal. Wait, what? Oh. Contracts. Okay, cool. Sound like I'm not a doctor. Yep. What do we like? 1 or 2? We got a tie. Next one in the chat. Pick 2. Okay. Wait, what? Am I supposed to read? Fuck. Hold on. Fucking cilantro! We'll turn this up too. Cilantro! To everybody in the chat. This is how we closing out. With cilantro after as well. Alright, play. These ain't scary, but I love these. Just like Tanker and Mini Bloxia's videos. Damn. First keep going. None of this, I'm assuming, is relevant to the actual video that we're watching, so fuck it. Let's go.
It's an 8 video. A YouTuber has just returned home when he finds one of his dogs terrified, hiding under the bed. The YouTuber tries in any way to get the dog out from under the bed, but the animal, seemingly disturbed, remains hidden. After 45 minutes, the dog finally emerges for a couple of seconds, just to return terrified one more time under the bed. Unable to calm the dog, the YouTuber starts by looking around, finding that also his cat is making strange movements, pointing his head to the attic door. The man decides
Pointing his head to the attic door. Conveniently.
to go up to the attic to find out what is going on, when suddenly...
Aí, fim da festa aí, pessoal. Ó, comprei a câmera nova. Vamos colocar um vídeo no YouTube aí, ó. Ai, que vergonha, não faz isso. A Josi capotada já, com sono. Aí, Thiago, a câmera que eu comprei nova aí. Vermelhinha e tal. Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é?
That's fake.
Essa, velho? Mano, eu vi uma coisa aqui, Thiago.
If you guys didn't see it, the face, yeah, right there. The face goes across, that's fake.
Nova aí. Vermelhinha e tal. Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é essa, velho? Mano, eu vi uma coisa aqui, Thiago. Tem uma coisa que passou aqui, velho.
Velho.
Tô falando sério, cara. Tô falando sério. Vem aqui comigo, cara.
Tem nada aqui não.
Eu vi uma coisa assim, cara.
Tá louco, mano?
Maluco. Maluco. Eu vou voltar a câmera. Eu vou voltar.
Mom, I thought I just saw you in the kitchen. How did you get inside the closet so fast? Fuck these shits. I didn't even see it in the slow motion. Like, titties win, okay? Like, what was I supposed to see? shit. Okay. There's what the fuck?
What is the fucking matter? What is the deal?
Lame.
What the fuck? Get in here. Get in here. Get in here. What is the deal? Astrid, you're freaking me out. Come here. Come here.
Not weird.
Rinka. Rinka. Rinka.
My penthouse and I freaked it. I haven't made my mind up, should I keep it? I got big dog status and ain't no
I'm waiting.
secret. Da-dee-da-dee-da. Slime on me now.
I mean, that's kind of weird if that's real, but nah.
This cannot be real. Hold on, let me slow down. Roll down the window. Roll down the window. I want to talk to him. This guy's on Twitter too much. Hey, buddy, I'm there. Oh, God, he's running. Oh, he's running. He's chasing us. Oh, my God, he's running.
What the fuck?
What the hell?
Eyeballs.
Hello?
Give me eyeballs! At least they're back. Hey, Allie. Thank you. That was a welcome distraction.
Wait a second. I think I see a.
Wait, what? Dead relative trying to communicate with you.
Wait
The raid caught up?
a second. I think I see a. I thought I seen a big buck or something. Wait, stop right there. What is that? Is that a buck?
What is that?
Dude, that's a.
Well, yeah, lock your fucking doors at night. Like, what? What is this shit?
Dude, what? Is that a clown? No. What? Is that a hawk?
Dude, honk at him, honk at him.
No way.
Dude, get out of here.
Go, back up, Paul.
Go.
Back up. What?
Go back.
That's not a frog. Was that simple? Like clown over? No shit! Like you hit that motherfucker. What the fuck is wrong with people? Not real.
Go back. But what happens is this creature comes up against this fence and it
It's not simple.
jumps this fence. And it was standing, we think, right in this where
They do stream? Oh, I don't know those frogs. Where do those frogs live?
I'm standing right now, and my friend's inside right now. But I'm getting this footage. And did you just fucking hear that? That was fucking it.
Bro, I see frogs all the time. Not all frogs scream. I don't know what frogs those are.
Did you just fucking hear that? That was fucking it. Oh. Fuck this, I'm out. Fuck.
If those are real sound, maybe.
This.
Be careful. Slow down though, slow down.
Look, it's simple again. Why does everyone sound like simple?
Oh my god.
Yo, what are you doing over here, bro? You're not scaring anybody.
Dude, stop.
You're not scaring anybody.
Stop. Go.
Bleeding tree frog? From Australia? Okay. What? How does this fit? Joe! Didn't Mario teach you shit? Some frogs certainly can't scream, especially in common frog. You shall cause the person shriek as long as pleasurable. Cat or dog? Cool. I did not know that.
In the moonlight, my honey, I know with the dawn that you will be gone.
The fuck?
¿Qué está comiendo? ¿Qué está comiendo? ¿Qué está comiendo? Bolillo, compa. ¿Eh? Bolillo. Un bolillo. Compa, ¿qué hacemos? Voy a bajar, compa. ¿Baja? Sí, voy a bajar. Deténgamela. Pero hay que bajar los tres, compa. Hay que bajar los tres. Usted también tiene que bajar. Usted también tiene que bajar, compa. Usted
They're being loud as fuck.
tiene que bajar. Amigo. Amigo. ¿Por qué llora?
They're yelling at him.
Mire. Amigo. Le está llorando. Trae. Oye, amigo, no. Vamos a bajar, compa. Baja, güey. Pregúntele, compa. Mire lo que está comiendo.
Fake.
¿Qué trae en la boca, güey?
Why is he a Ken doll?
Bájate, leche, bájate, güey, bájate.
We has underwear. Nice of him to cover his shit.
Ay, Dios mío. ¿Por qué lloras? Mire, esa es una rata. ¿Qué? Es una rata, compa. ¿Por qué no?
أنت أدري بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Hey. Not scary. All right. That one wasn't it. No more requests for the stream. But we'll do. I want to show you guys this. I shared it the other day. Probably my favorite scary video that's been sent for Halloween in a while. We'll do it. If I can find it. There it is. The last one's coming. Yep. 2.5 hours later. All right. We'll close with this one because I enjoy it. We watched it a few years ago. Not scary to me necessarily, but still a solid fucking film. Cilantro! And yes, this bitty got the hips. Yeah, it is pretty creepy your first time watching. I got you.
Ooh, you look thirsty.
Well, damn.
Hydrated yet today?
No, well, yeah, but let's go. Cilantro. I didn't realize you brought that, Alan. Yeah. Shout out to Alan. He brought this, was it like 2-3 years ago? This shit, like, I love this fucking short film. I've showed this so many times. I think what I like most is that the jump scare here isn't like, it's not like super set up. It's at the point where you, it's great. They do such a good job at actually using the jump scare when you're not expecting to see the motherfucker.
Ding, 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 motherfucker!
Hello. Hello, Twitch. Whoever fucking ding, ding, ding me. Oh, hello, Inga. Inga, ding, ding, ding. I can taste chicken, bitch. There you go. Can I post this link? Yes. Let me copy the link. Share it over to Twitch. And I'll share it to YouTube as well. Alright. So, friends, we're at the end of the evening. I appreciate all of you. Let me take this off so I can talk to you like a normal human without hearing my fucking echoes. I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me on Halloween. Hopefully, we've added a little bit more spook to your season. Appreciate you guys. We're gonna raid. We should do that real quick. Hold up. Let me go full screen real quick. We should go raid. You guys probably can't see my makeup. I did actually do some makeup for this stream. So shout out to my wife for the fact that my cheeks are so shiny. Alright. After Party is in the Discord. If you're not hanging out with us in the Discord, get in the Discord. Type ! Discord to join the Alpha team in the Discord. As always, don't forget, we're going to keep rolling right along over there. In the meantime, we'll give you somebody to hang out with over on Twitch. So if you guys are in the Twitch stream, make sure that you join the raid. If you're hanging out on YouTube and you use Twitch, join us over on Twitch. Let's go along for the raid over to... We're going to go raid Ska. I know, some of you are going to be like, we raided Ska last night! That's okay. Raid Ska Crew Official. And if you haven't followed Ska already, follow him. When you get over there, let him know that I sent you. Let him know that he missed an awesome stream. We were doing some dope shit. Spam him with the sperm emojis, as we always do. And, cilantro, motherfuckers! This is the end of the stream. Appreciate you guys. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Follow, all that good stuff. I'm DJ AlphaTyler, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. And if you're in the Dick Sword, the after party is coming there in just a minute, so be there!
I'm actually on my way out. Dang, thank you so much, brother. I literally have my raid screen open, and I was about to head on out of here.